Preston Nelson here with the Icon Podcast once again, and I am still in Mexico if you're wondering what my background is. And so I'm, though, super excited to have Nicole on as a guest today. I know a little bit about Nicole, but it's only from what I've heard from other people having just raving reviews of what she's up to in the EXP world. So I'm in for a treat as much as you are about learning a little bit more about Nicole, her journey, and her business over at EXP as an Icon agent. So welcome to the show, Nicole. Super excited to have you.
I'm excited too. Thanks for having me today.
Of course, of course. So let's just dive right in. I would love for you to do an intro on yourself. Tell our audience who you are, where you're from, and kind of, how your real estate business is structured these days.
Excellent. So I am a fifth generation Texan,
Okay.
a lifelong resident of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and I've been helping families buy and sell houses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since 1995.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's very much a part of who I am and how I serve this world. I do believe it's our role and our job to leave this world a better place, and this is one of the ways I get to do that, and that is by connecting with folks before, during, and after a real estate transaction. So I joined EXP in August of 2018. I very clearly remember the gentleman that I was visiting with about the opportunity said, if you stay where you are, which was great, and everywhere I've been, every major brokerage I've been with, fabulous. I've had my broker's license since 1999, but except for 1 year where I had my own brokerage, I've always affiliated with national brokerages because of the value that they bring to my clients and certainly to me as well. So it's always kind of a scenario of what do you charge me, what do I get? And as long as what I'm getting in value is in excess of what I'm paying, then I'm right where I need to be. And I've made decisions to pay more in a brokerage with the understanding or the expectation that I get more for it. And it's an opportunity for a win-win. When I was approached and started really deeply exploring the business model of EXP, the gentleman, Bill, said, so, what will you get if you stay where you are? And I'm like, well, I'll sell lots of houses. I'll make this much money, la, la, la. He's like, well, what about if you go with EXP? And I'm like, well, I'm going to sell a lot of houses and make a lot of money, this kind of stuff. But there were a couple of things about EXP that was completely unique to the business, completely unique to the industry. And one of those was stock. Mm-hmm. So he happened to know that after 25 years in the business, I am at some point looking for an exit strategy.
Of course.
And for some reason, I was thinking we just had this conversation and just happened to have that conversation. So the stock at the time was trading, I don't know, it had just been launched on NASDAQ maybe 6 months prior. And so anyway, I just thought, well, I'll be buying some stock. I'll be maybe, depending on how that goes. Anyway, so all summer long, and this is time date stamp 2020, as the stock, my basis, my average, because for the last couple of years, and I just iconed for my second time, I've been buying stock at a discount. And my average price per share basis is about $6, and today is trading for 42. Yeah. So as I'm looking at that and watching that, and obviously, side note, that is just an extra. And that was Bill's point to me was, I've got absolutely nothing to lose. I'm going to continue to sell houses. I'm going to continue to make money. I would not have made a jump for a nominal annual savings. Because obviously it's a big deal when you move brokerages. But anyway, I did, and I'm just very tickled to be here and just really excited about this being part of EXP. So you look like you're with me on this.
I love that. I love that. So, you kind of already answered one of my first questions I usually ask is like, why was your big reason for jumping over? And for you, it was, I'm going to sell the same amount of houses or whatever I want to sell each year, no matter the place, all the Remax, KW, all the companies together, they're all somewhat similar to some degree. Same with EXP. So for you, it's like, can I get a few of those extras to be able to do that? Now, obviously stock was a big reason you came over. Was there any reason that you didn't come over for that you're like, wow, I didn't even really know that existed, or I didn't know that was that cool of a thing? Like, was there any pleasant surprises for you that when you came over?
That's a great question. I literally, when I was doing my, pluses and minuses, shouldn't I, there was no, it was almost like, why should I come? It was almost like, why wouldn't I come? Right. So that was kind of the way and I'm a very speedy decision maker. So So no, the surprise though, to answer your question specifically, is the because we were created to be a virtual platform business, which was very much in alignment with my core values. Even though I always had an office in the office, it was a place for my stuff or for, my staff. But when I'm in the office, I'm like, hyperventilating, because that's not the best all productive activities for me to be in an office. So having the platform, having the mindset that we are our business in the business, just the overarching mindset of my peers in this organization. And with that, so we're already prepared for that whole virtual world. With that, though, was the spirit of collaboration. And so you wonder, like, well, gosh, if I don't go into the office, if I don't see these people, how am I going to feed that need for socialization? And I was blown away by the opportunities, the trainings, the meetings, the just all that we know, right? Yeah. We know this, but it's just, and so now instead of being in an office of 100 or 400, or in one case 800, I'm in an office of 36,000.
Yeah.
And so, and then just, I do, one of the things I know we'll get to at some point is that the piece of the icon culture of this that I find so tremendously unique and valuable is it is an opportunity for those who are rocking it out in production to give back to this community.
I love it.
And the truth is we're incentivized to. I mean, I think there's a lot of us that just from the goodness of our heart want to contribute, want to leave a legacy, want to give. This is an organization that doesn't just get us aside and say, hey, would you come do this? They financially incentivize us to do this.
I love it. Well, let's just dive in, because you probably got some people on this that know who you are, that are listening, that might be at other brokerages, and they might not be ready for EXP, but maybe EXP is on their radar, and so they probably haven't never heard of Icon. Like, I'll tell you from my journey and why this podcast was started is I didn't know much about Icon before coming to EXP. And to be honest with you, even when I joined EXP, it was months in when I was like, oh, there's an Icon thing. It gives you free money. And so I would love for you in your own words to kind of tell people listening to you is like, what is Icon? What does it mean? And then kind of what's the process to achieve it? And then kind of talk a little bit the cultural things, because it's not an award that you just automatically hit a number and then you get. Like, there's some cultural standards in place that they have to go through. So I'd love for you to explain that to people listening.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to acknowledge one of the questions you'd asked that I didn't fully answer is I'm a solo agent. Okay. I do have a licensed assistant. I also have some virtual assistants, awesome. Something maybe for us to talk about further. Yeah. But so I'm not a mega agent, right? I drank the Kool-Aid in the 90s. I built a team, and after a few years, I realized I was paying others more than I was paying myself, and decided, you know what, I really enjoy being in the trenches with buyers and sellers. That's my gift. Now, obviously I can't do this to the degree I want to without help, so I have the help that I need. So that's just my structure. But all that being said, in my personal opinion, for what it's worth, any real estate agent who is selling 30 houses a year or more is absolutely silly if they don't come on board with EXP. I am a people person. I'm a relationship person. So when I first started researching EXP, I was a little bit uncomfortable about the money piece of it, right? Like, this isn't about me. This isn't about the money, but it is, right? It's like at the end of the day, it's finding that balance between what's good for me is good for my clients, and being able to have that conversation of why I came on board with this company that's technology based and that's collaboration based and that its core values align with my core values. And oh, by the way, there's certainly a financial aspect to it that is extremely compelling. So that being said, part of the Icon process is, so you have a certain dollar amount. So the cap, which anybody that's familiar with the KW model, which is my background, certainly is, it's a certain dollar amount that you're going to pay somebody, a broker, during the course of a calendar year. The thing that was interesting about my first year at EXP was because the percentage that's taken from each deal is lower, and the cap is lower, it took a little longer for me. Normally I would cap in 30 days. Now it took, like 60, 75 days. And I like that. I was okay with But that was a little bit interesting because normally I'm used to capping that first month and then boom, 11 months for free. But at the end of the day, this was a better deal. So there's the cap piece of it. And then once you've capped, then it's another 20 transactions with a transaction fee. There's some, I'm sure you're going to asterisk some of these things.
Yep.
Anyway, but that's the big picture. So for me and my market and my average price, I need about 10 deals to cap.
Yep.
Once I've capped, I need another 20 deals to icon. So my first year on board, I literally made it by the hair of my chin, chin, chin. And so I did. This year, because of just the timing and the nature of the business, I was able to make it with a couple months to spare, which was great. But again, anybody that is doing 30 deals a year or more really needs to stop and take a serious look at how this could serve you. So once you qualify, so that's the financial qualifications of EXP. You mentioned there's other qualifications as well. Icon isn't just a sales award. It is a cultural award, and it's a cultural obligation should you choose to accept it, right? So part of it is they're going to give you, the company is going to give you back what is that, 2/3 of what you give them in stock today, which by the way has a 3-year vesting period, which is perfect for me. I don't need that money, right? I've already given it away. Now it's just going to sit there in this nice little bucket and it's just going to grow. So there's that. And then there's opportunities to earn it all back through some different cultural opportunities. So for example, you have different options, but my selection in the cultural requirement is to teach. So I teach a class each month in the world. It's called Systems for Success. I'm a big systems girl. And so I now have packaged up what I've created and I make it available to anybody and everybody who show up in the world that month and that hour, and they take away my systems, my giveaways, everything that I do. So that's one way. We're also financially incentivized to go to the EXPCon, of course, virtual, EXPCon and shareholders. So again, it's an opportunity. It's like incentivizing us to do what we really should and want to do anyway, because we want to tap into and learn and grow and be energized by all the exciting things that are going on here in the brokerage. And one of the best ways to do it, as much as the world really does feed that socialization need, there's nothing quite like getting together with your closest friends in real estate and just really learning from the best, socializing with our board of directors. We own part of this brokerage. And so that's just really a fun perspective to be part of here after all these years in the real estate business without that.
I love that. So basically what I'm hearing you say is if you keep iconing, so you iconed once, got 16,000 in cap, which you probably bought it at like $6, $7, $8 on that one. Now it's worth 42. So that $16,000 turned into like $80,000 basically. And then you capped again and you iconed again. So you got another 16,000. The cost per share might have been a little higher, maybe not. I don't even know, but it doubled, tripled again. And so even if your money would have never have tripled because of the stock going up, you would have still been accumulating roughly 16,000 a year if nothing else happened.
If nothing else happened.
Or even if the stock cut in half 50% and you made 16,000 a year, 50% of 48,000 is still a lot more than you would have had at any of your last companies.
100%.
Yeah,
and that's the no-brainer piece of it, where it's like I'm giving this money to somebody to operate my business at a very high level, and might as well be EXP.
I love it because everybody listening to this is probably somewhat of a high producer or achieving to be there at that 30 units, and then sometimes there's skepticism around, well, how can they just let everybody be at the company for free? And I think we want to be clear that the icon's only the top 2%, which is just 30 deals. And so while it's still a great company for all sizes of units, it's like you said, it's kind of a no-brainer once you hit 30 to not consider it just from a free standpoint. So I love that. So is there anything at EXP that you got over, and you kind of talked a little bit about this, but like, is there anything like service, like how is that for you? Because running a team and you liking systems, I know that it would frustrate you if you weren't able to get a hold of someone because they're virtual. Like, what was that process like for you? And what have you found the customer service, the broker management, all of that been like for you?
Absolutely outstanding. So perfect example, when I went to give notice to my office with 800 people, and it happened to be on the first day of the month, the accounting department was completely shut down for, closing out the month. There was literally nobody in the office to have a face-to-face conversation with to give my notice. And that's kind of what my experience was. Now, having done this as long as I have, I don't really need a broker in my business all day long, but when I want one, I need them, right? And so it was always a challenge to get in line, have a question. I would have, a staff member engage. It always took multiple attempts to try to get resolution because it just took forever. So I was prepared for that, though. I thought, here we go. I'm in the state of Texas. I think we are up to 5,000 agents now. How in the world are they going to possibly be able to be responsive? It's unbelievable. So consider, if you will, that because of the way our brokerage operates with eXp World, if I have a question for a broker, then I can I can show evidence of this. If I text a broker if I workplace chat, right, then I have a question, I'll have a response within 5 or 10 minutes, even if it's hey, I don't need it right this second. Yeah. Very responsive. Really, really cool is the take a number process to go into eXp World. Yep. Right. So if I'm, and I'm not, so I'm talking about eXp World, I'm not usually sitting at a laptop during the day, but so I can access a lot of the training or the meetings or things like that on my app on the phone, which I do. Our Texas meeting is every Tuesday morning, 9 to 9:30. I'm on it and I don't have to be there. Yeah. It used to be I have to block off half a day to be in for an office meeting. So I have that opportunity. So the consistency of the communication also with workplace is whatever is discussed during that meeting, they post it. So it's like Facebook only productive. So there's productivity. So all that communication that sometimes would get lost in translation or end up in a junk mailbox, I can just go straight into the Texas group and workplace and get the information that I need. The broker room in eXp World. So if I am at my desk, then I can go into eXp World. I take a ticket in the eXp broker room, and within a minute or two, somebody is right there ready to help with me. I have my own, the payment processing piece of it. So the CDA, just everything that goes into me getting my commission from a sale is so extremely systematized and so quick and easy. The expectations are super clear, and it's just, everything's done. And anyway, it's just been.
And now you just kind of a random thing on that. You get your money virtually too, right? Are they doing direct deposit for you and everything?
Yeah, especially on the 22nd of the month. We haven't even talked about rev share, but that quite frankly was not even, it was on my radar because who doesn't like free money for telling their friends about something they like? Yeah. But it was not ever my intention to become an agent recruiter. It was always, it made sense to me as a producing real estate agent to come on board, and I did. And in the process, people came too, and there's
free money. I love that. So what I'm hearing you say is that was kind of your surprise. You knew it existed, but it was never going to be a focus of your business. You were going to come sell homes like you had been doing for, 20 plus years. But then now you found just another place that you can, make extra money that you never had.
Another revenue stream that is an added bonus.
I love that. So a lot of people on here, and I talk about this almost every show, there's some people listening on here that have an ego, and whether they know it or not. I was that person when I was trying to get recruited from KW to EXP. I thought I wasn't worth I'm not even going to take a look at it. I've obviously gotten over that, but I know there's people out there that exist like that, like me. And so if they're listening right now and they're struggling with even taking a look, they feel ashamed that they even take a look at what EXP has to offer, what would you tell them? And what was the process you went through? Were you recruited for years? Was it just simple conversations? What really got you, to at least take a look at it?
That's a great question. Actually, I felt zero pressure from my buddy Bill to just look at it, zero pressure, whether you do it, whether you don't, we're still going to be pals. Right. So that piece of it, I thought was very, artistic, right? There was zero pressure. So, and then the second piece of it was, I felt really safe because I had just capped and I was not going anywhere for 11 months. So it would not hurt me to at least understand. And from the perspective, one of the things when I was recruited and went to Sotheby's several brokerages ago, I was so flattered that the owner called me directly, and I had no interest in going. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm an active member of our local real estate community, and people were talking about it. People are talking about EXP. So I felt like I owed it to myself as a real estate professional to at least know what they're talking about. And certainly here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's a lot of us. And so to think, okay, so what do these people know that I don't? I know what I know, and it's good. But what did these people know that I don't know? And lo and behold, I found out. So that may be counterintuitive to what you're saying, because there's a real risk. There is a legitimate risk once somebody sees this model and understands what that means to their personal business, that they're going to have a real hard time not coming.
Yeah.
Right. You can't unlearn something. And so until I knew what I didn't know, I was completely and totally happy right where I was. But then you can't not know it.
Yeah, you can't, especially people that are in a smaller market, maybe listening. Like, first thing I want to say, guys, if you like Nicole's energy, if you know her, if you don't know her, and you want to align with her, like, what's cool about EXP is whether you're in Texas or another state, you have the ability to align and be able to get those systems and tools from her as well. So please check out the information down below on how you can connect with her. If you're looking to join EXP, Nicole's a great option. But Nicole, you came from Texas, which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, I actually grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I lived most of my life there, actually, even though I did my real estate business in Denver. So love that market. But that was a market that was saturated with a lot of EXP agents to a degree. And so you kind of had the benefit of hearing about it. But would you say that it's even a bigger benefit for people in a smaller market that don't even have EXP yet to be on the front edge of it? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. In fact, hindsight's always 2020, right? But one of the early adopters in the Dallas area, just an amazing producer, an amazing businesswoman, and just quite frankly, doesn't have to do anything today because of the decisions she made then as it related to the stock price and to where the organization was poised for growth. There were 30-something thousand real estate agents already, but there's an abundance, a million licensed agents in the U.S. And again, and of course we're growing in other places and things like that. So there's no limit. There's no bad time. I think if anything, I think that the good news is, so to answer your question, someone in a smaller market certainly has a greater opportunity to be on the entry level of, what's been interesting is over the last couple of years, and as I didn't make recruiting or attracting or sharing EXP a priority, I have watched friend after friend after friend come on board. And I'm like, if I would have known that they were even open to it, I would have initiated that conversation. But just whether, for whatever reason. I think the good news is people are continuing to be drawn to this organization for whatever their reasons are. And for some, it's the stock. And for some, it's the rev share. And for some, it's the productivity. And for some, it's the training. And for some, it's the collaboration. And for some, it's just the energy. There's so much positive energy in and around this organization. And that's what I'm seeing. So to your point, last I heard, there were 50,000 realtors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that could be way off, but
that sounds about right.
I think we have maybe 1,500. Yeah. So we are in no way, shape, or form saturated. There is plenty of room on this team, plenty of room in this company, plenty of room to capitalize, to capture some of this growth and this momentum. So I think for someone who's in a small market, at least they have the benefit of, if they're at all connected with any sort of coaching organization or referral organization or whatever, they've seen their friends in bigger markets move. They probably have questions. They're probably wondering what is going on. So yeah.
I love that. So as we kind of wrap up here, you're obviously a super high producer. Business can be stressful in all standpoints. Do you do anything outside of the business to kind of keep you grounded, kind of keep you refreshed? Is there anything outside the box that you do or like to do hobby-wise that kind of keeps your wheel turning?
Well, to answer your question, this would have been a really big travel year for us.
Okay. Okay.
Europe and Mexico, whatever. So travel really is the reason why I do what I do. And that's actually not completely true. I love to travel.
Yeah.
My why has to do more just with leaving a legacy. I've grown children. So I was a single mom for 15 of my 25 years in this business. And this was a phenomenal industry for my children. My daughter actually is a licensed agent. She's not, she always told me she wouldn't be, but we'll see. But she actually does it. She's doing some other stuff too. Very entrepreneurial millennial. So, but no, part of what I like to do in my not working time is serve through a local charity or a local Rotary group. So, and we support 20 local charities. So through this Rotary, I've been able to serve there, get to know some phenomenal folks in my community, serve alongside them, contribute to this community, and just really feel like I can see tangible evidence of the difference that my time, talent, and treasures can make. So that's one of the things I enjoy doing here when I'm not traveling.
I love that. I love that. Well, you have told everybody probably everything that they need to hear to at least take a look at the model. So I really appreciate your time today. And as we wrap up here, like I remind you guys, Dallas, Texas, you got any referrals for real estate? Send them over to Nicole. If you want to partner with her at EXP, please take a look at what she's got down below. Please feel free to reach out to her, add her on Facebook, find her all over the place. And Nicole, I really appreciate you being on here today.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the service you're providing to share more about this amazing program. The Icon program really is second to none here in the real estate business.
I appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. Well, with that being said, guys, as we're signing off here from the Icon podcast, always, we appreciate you guys listening in. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next episode.